Welcome to the Smart Route Planning app, Team 3 for AMOS. Let us take you through a very specific use case for our application. For example, we have Alice, who is an operations coordinator. Her role, she plans and assigns daily routes for technicians visiting those customer locations. On a day-to-day basis, she uses multiple tools, for example, Excel, email, and those Google Maps. But she faces a lot of pain points as well. Alice spends multiple hours manually planning those daily routes, often leading to overlaps, delays, and long travel times. She sometimes has no clear way to visualize or adjust those plans once it's set. Last minute changes are very stressful and hard to manage for Alice. But smartly and thankfully, we have our route planning application to solve these pain points for her. Let me take you through our application as well. This is the Smart Route Planning app. So we upload the appointment data and the company info data in our application. Appointment data is nothing but the daily appointments, the start address and the end address of these appointments, and also on what day is that appointment. And the company info is nothing but the start address and the end address of the company for which we are building this application. Now let me upload the appointment data and the company info data. Once I upload, if I go to the appointment scenario, I can see the multiple jobs which we have for each of these days. Now let me optimize for a specific week. For example, we want to optimize week number 16, which is nothing the week for April 2005. When we select that specific week, we see that the addresses need to be verified, and after that we can start the optimization. First, let me verify those appointments. I click on verify appointments. We can see for some of the days the appointments are not verified, and for some of the days the appointments are verified. Let me take you through a specific use case where the appointments are not verified. For example, on Monday, if we go inside, we can see for the day there are addresses which are wrong. So we have the capability in the application to delete that specific address and then go back, right? Let me go back to the specific week again, and there are some days for which the addresses are verified. Once the addresses are verified, we can start the optimization. Let me click on start optimization. While the optimization is done, let me take you through the company parameters or the company configuration page. Now here you can edit the company start address and the company end address, and for each of the vehicles you can add multiple workers, and you can also set the start time and end time for that specific vehicle, add multiple skills to that specific vehicle. One skill is for one of the workers, or one worker can also have multiple skills. There are several other parameters that you can configure in this configuration page. For example, you can set the cost per kilometer for that vehicle, and also set the cost per hour for the number of workers which is there in the vehicles as well. And you also have a capability to configure the depot start address and the depot end address in case the worker wants to start from home instead of the company depot. You also have an option to set the lunch break start time and the lunch break end time and the break duration for that specific vehicle as well. Now let me go back to the calendar view. Let me go back to April, for which month we are configuring. Now you can see for week number 16, the optimization is done for a specific day. For example, on April 15th, we can see multiple routes, right? For each of these routes, we can see the number of appointments, the start address and the end address, and the total service time which is required for the specific route. But you would also want to see the details of the specific day, right? Of course, you can. If you click on this, you can see for each of the vehicles where it starts, where it ends, and the number of destinations that vehicle has to travel to, right? We also have a capability of toggling on and off the vehicles so that you want to see a specific route or some specific routes. You can also download the solution, or you can also get back to the fleet as well. Once you go to fleet, you can see what is the number of workers that you have for the specific vehicle, and you can also see the characteristics or the skills which is mapped to that specific vehicle, right? But you can also see the daily plan view. If you go to the daily plan view, we can see, for example, for vehicle number, one second, let me come down. As you can see, for each of the routes. For example, for vehicle number 1, you can see it starts from the company address. You can see what is the service time for each of these appointments, what is the number of workers required, and what are the required skills, and what is the travel time to the next appointment and the total traveling distance. So these are the specific KPIs for the vehicles you can see as well, and you also have an option to download as well. Thus, we come to an end of the workflow of the AMOS Smart Route Planning app. Thank you and have a nice day.